Hey guys, I'm Logan here with Hydra 572, and today I have two weird knife stories to share with you guys. I'll start with this here. I know what this looks like, but it isn't a Buck 119 and it's not a Buck Pathfinder, and strangely enough it's not a cheap knockoff of either of those knives either. And to understand that, I've got a little bit of explaining to do about the company, and what this actually is a G96 Model 920. Now, G96, some of you might know, now they produce gun oils and lubricants and things like that, but back a couple decades ago they did make clones of popular American knives, and while I won't say that this one is better than a Buck Pathfinder, which it's a clone of, typically their knives were better than the knives that they were cloning. And the reason that is that during this time Japan had a better understanding of stainless steel than us, and we were more typically concerned with just putting out an affordable knife. We didn't really care what type of steel we were using, whereas Japan was using high quality steels like ADS 34. So people sometimes found that these cheaper clones of knives that they knew that were made by Buck or Gerber performed better and held their edge longer than the American-made versions. And of course, seeing as they're copying the knives that people already liked during these time periods, they had really nice designs. Now this one hasn't been sharpened in years, and I didn't feel like sharpening it up and abusing it to try to test it out, so I can't give you a specific recommendation on this model. I will say that it hasn't been sharpened in years and it still cuts paper, but I don't feel like showing you, so you'll have to take my word for it. Now I'll flip it around really quick so you can see the other side. Now, seeing as these were Japanese clones, they did have some fit and finish type problems. As you guys can hopefully see, the width of these orange plastic rings that go through the pommel and guard aren't always really beautiful lines, and over here you can see that where the blade goes into the guard, it's not a really well cut line, but that doesn't really interrupt how the knife is working, so it's not a problem for me. And before I filmed this video, I did do quite a bit of reading to figure out about the company, and recently they were bought by an American, and he is producing gun oils at a very high quality level here in America. And these knives, especially their fillet knife, but even knives like this one and some of their clones of Gerber folding knives, have gotten recommendations on the forum, and if you see them used, they aren't made anymore, but if you get a chance to pick one up at a gun show or on eBay, I'd go ahead and pick it up. If you're okay with the price, you might get a nice user knife out of the deal. I'll take you over to our second knife. Now, just to keep the contradictions going, here we have a Swiss Army knife, but it's not made by Wegner or Victorinox. But it is a nice knife. I like the tools that it has, and I like the coatings on the blades. And it is too bad because I would like to pick up one of these knives for myself, but they aren't produced anymore. Now, this knife also took quite a bit of research to figure out about, because it's only marked with Barlow Solingen on this side here, and Inox, which means inoxidable, and rust-free, and I know I'm butchering that pronunciation, but it means rust-free, literally in German. So I went to Google and Googled Barlow Solingen. Now, if you're a knife buff, you know that a Barlow is a style of slip joint knife that's pretty historically famous, but apparently they were also a company for quite a few decades. So what the company Barlow did was to import foreign knives from Europe to America to sell as customizable gifts. They started in the 1930s, and they had a pretty successful business, reaching out to companies like Dow that gave this knife to my dad. But they were bought by a company called Norwood in 2005. Norwood planned to operate on the same basic premise, trying to sell their knives to companies to use as customizable gifts and whatnot. But they started to replace the nice and popular knives that Barlow used, like this one, with crappy, more CCC type knives. And now their knives are only available through one or two websites that are more engraving services than knife selling websites. LogoKnives.com is one of their biggest fronts, and it's basically missable unless you are a company. Then they can get you popular American knives like the Buck 110 at wholesale type prices. But Norwood's site itself has perplexingly few knives on it. They seem more concerned with plaques and pens than anything else. And this kind of leaves me in a weird position because I really like this knife that's here in front of me. I like the idea of a coated Swiss Army knife. I wish that Victorinox or Wegner would pick up on that. and I like the different tools that it has inside it. I won't show you all of them because they're pretty similar to what you'd find in a more common Swiss Army knife, but yeah, I really like them. But unfortunately, the company that produced and sold this knife is now pretty mediocre. So I guess if you're looking around at a show or on eBay and you see a knife that's from Barlow Solingen, then you can judge for yourself if you'd like it. They do apparently have the ability to make nice knives that I would recommend, but I can't guarantee that all of them are going to be like this because the ones that I saw on their website certainly weren't. So yeah, that leaves me with a pretty weird feeling, and I'd say that now after 2 weird stories and 0 reviews, I owe you guys something interesting, so here's me and Chad doing the fun thing at the end of this video. Hey guys, how's it going? The fun thing of this video, we're going to penetrate some things with rubber. That's right, we're doing penetration tests on tires. Chad's got the little zombie killer knife. He's going to stab through the side of this tire. Now we're going to do the same test with the bigger Ka-Bar knife, so go ahead and give us that one, Chad. Right. Okay, now we've got something that's really special. Chad's going to go ahead and give it a stab. It appears our lightsaber is malfunctioning. Alright, we've got something to fall back on. You guys have seen this before, but I think you'll like it anyway. Not too much trouble on that one.
Leonidas would be proud.
Anyways, we had fun. Hope you guys enjoyed this fun thing of this video. We just had some tires we had to get rid of, so we've accomplished that task. So yeah, we'll see you guys again soon. Hope you enjoyed this video.